Leo, let's not sugarcoat it, the heavens are shaking. Something powerful is moving through your life right now, and you can feel it. Maybe it's subtle attention you can't explain. Or maybe it's loud, like doors slamming shut or people revealing their true selves. Either way, this is no ordinary week. This is divine disruption. And it's happening for you, not to you. You didn't stumble across this video by accident. You didn't click just to be entertained. You were drawn here because something in your soul is ready to hear the truth. Ready to step into alignment. Ready to stop shrinking to fit into stories that were never written for you. What we're about to explore today isn't just a forecast. It's a cosmic message, tailored to your exact energetic frequency. And if you're Leo, whether sun, rising, or moon, the universe has something urgent to say. Your light has been hidden long enough. Now it's time for your enemies to face truth, for divine protection to surround you, and for wealth, real, sustaining, soul-aligned wealth to begin flowing toward you. This reading isn't about hope or luck. It's about spiritual mechanics. About energy finally balancing itself after long being thrown off by betrayal, manipulation, or fear. If you've been holding it all together, pushing forward while wondering if anyone sees your effort, this message will land deep. The skies are trembling because the divine is correcting something on your behalf. And no, this isn't about revenge. This is about justice. The kind that doesn't need to shout. The kind that returns to you what was always meant to be yours. So stay with me. Stay present. Let this be your moment to receive what your spirit has already sensed. A new era is opening for you, and you're no longer walking into it alone. There's a reason you've been feeling tired lately. Not just physically, spiritually. Because light workers, old souls, and chosen hearts like yours tend to carry more than their share. But something is shifting now. I see doors opening. I see blockages clearing. I see the spiritual realm stepping in, not just to clear the path, but to crown you with what you were always worthy of receiving. And before we begin, I want to take a moment to say something heartfelt. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. For trusting your intuition enough to be here. For every like, every comment, every subscription, you are not just supporting this space, you're expanding a collective field of light that makes this message possible. Your presence means more than you know. Now tell me, what brought you here today, Leo? What have you gone through lately that cracked something open in you and whispered, "This message is for me"? Share it below. Claim your moment. Right, I am ready to receive truth, justice, and divine abundance. Because you are ready. And trust me, you're going to want to stay until the very end. What's being revealed in this video is bigger than you think. Let's begin. Sometimes the truth doesn't arrive with a whisper. It comes crashing through like thunder in the middle of the night, loud and impossible to ignore. That's the kind of moment we're in now, especially for you, Leo. What's happening isn't just random disruption, it's divine timing disguised as chaos. And I know it can feel harsh. Sudden changes. Uncomfortable realizations. People showing sides of themselves you didn't want to believe were real. But this is the beginning of something far deeper than discomfort. It's the moment your inner light gets switched back on, not because everything is easy but because it's finally real. There's a kind of honesty the soul craves when it's tired of pretending. And right now, The universe is not asking for your permission, it's handing you the mirror and asking, are you ready to see clearly again? That's what happens when the Tower card shows up in a reading. It doesn't come to hurt you. It comes to destroy what's been built on shaky foundations. The masks fall. The illusions collapse. The silence breaks. And while that may feel like loss, what's actually being removed is everything that was quietly keeping you small. Paired with the Judgment and Emperor cards, we're not just talking about sudden endings. We're talking about rightful alignment. About things and people falling away so your true power can return to its rightful place. The Emperor is not just control, it's authority that's earned through chaos. It's standing tall after the storm and knowing that no one else can decide who you are or what your life should look like. You're reclaiming territory in your own soul. It may feel messy. You might cry. You might feel confused. But underneath all that is the most sacred thing of all, your truth. Astrologically, this is reinforced by Uranus's alignment with the Sun. In simple terms, this transit doesn't knock politely. It jolts. It's the hand on your shoulder saying, wake up. You may receive shocking news. You may notice strange synchronicities. You may feel the urge to make a sudden, overdue decision, like leaving something behind or saying something you've buried for years. That's not rebellion. That's awakening. And you don't owe anyone an apology for choosing clarity over comfort. Even the numbers echo this theme. 16, the Tower, is about necessary collapse. And 20, the Judgment, is the number of karmic accounting. Of resurrection. Of being called back to yourself after drifting for too long. When these numbers show up together, it means the storm is timed perfectly for a new kind of building, one that honors who you really are, not who you had to be to survive. This isn't about perfection. It's about realness. It's about sitting in the wreckage and feeling the relief of no longer pretending. So maybe right now, Leo, ask yourself, what truth have I been avoiding? What reality have I outgrown? Write it down. Say it aloud. Clean out your space. Let go of that thing in your closet or on your shelf that still smells like someone you don't trust. This is spiritual hygiene. This is sacred work. And if this resonates, if you've been through that kind of thunder in your life recently, I want to hear it. Comment below, I choose truth. Let's make this a space where people are not afraid to be honest about their turning points. You're not alone in this. You're just brave enough to stop pretending that you are. Stay with me. Because what's coming next isn't destruction, it's rebuilding, on the kind of ground that doesn't shake anymore. There comes a point in every healing journey where truth alone is not enough. Justice must speak. Not justice as in punishment or revenge, but something quieter, deeper, and more sacred, the natural rebalancing of energy. If the last chapter felt like you were doing all the right things but still getting overlooked, mistreated, or misunderstood, then you're going to understand exactly what this next phase means. Because what's happening now, Leo, isn't just revelation, it's resolution. The kind your soul has been waiting for. You might start noticing things that used to feel confusing suddenly make sense. People who once seemed untouchable might begin to lose their grip. Secrets might rise to the surface, and masks may fall not with a dramatic flare, but with quiet clarity. That's what the Judgment card brings. Not noise. Not drama. Just truth in motion. What once hid in the dark is now standing in full light. And it's not because you forced it. It's because the energy has shifted. Because truth, when ignored long enough, eventually creates a thunder of its own. From an astrological view, Pluto, the planet of transformation and exposure, is nearing the end of a long cycle. When that happens, there's often nowhere left to hide. The people who manipulated, blamed, or hurt you, they're being pulled into the light not because you chased them, but because the vibration of your life no longer allows those patterns to stay hidden. When you grow, when you heal, when you begin to choose differently, anything or anyone still operating in distortion starts to fall away. And here's the thing, you don't need to clap when it happens. You don't need to say, finally, or seek validation. In fact, this part of the process will ask you to release the need to see their apology or their downfall. Because this moment isn't about them. It's about you being free. This is about you no longer needing someone else to make things right for you to feel whole. It takes strength to stand in the quiet and let justice do its work. It takes maturity to forgive what never said sorry, to walk away from what won't ever admit it was wrong. But that's the work. That's what makes you rise. Not the noise. Not the clapbacks. Just presence. Just your power, steady and unshakable. I always suggest writing the letter you never sent, not because they deserve it, but because you do. Because carrying around the words you never said is like keeping poison in a bottle and wondering why it keeps spilling into your peace. Write it. Burn it. Bless it. Let it go. You don't need to give it to them. You just need to release it from you. And if you're still struggling with the tension between justice and peace, just know this, real justice is peace. When you stop explaining yourself. When you no longer flinch when their name comes up. When your joy is no longer postponed by their shadow. That's justice. That's freedom. So if something in your world is shifting, if someone who once had power over you is starting to lose it, if doors are closing without your effort, if truth is surfacing on its own, let it happen. Don't resist the grace in it. You've done enough. Now let life answer back. If this resonates with you, I invite you to share it in the comments. Have you ever forgiven someone who never said they were sorry? Let me know. Right, divine justice is working. Because the more we name this energy, the more we invite it in. And Leo, the universe heard you long before anyone else did. Stay grounded. Stay in your light. You don't need to chase what's already finding its way back to balance. Sometimes, abundance doesn't arrive as a windfall or a lottery ticket. Sometimes, it comes softly, like the moment you realize you're no longer afraid to check your bank account, or when you get an unexpected refund at just the right time, or when your creativity finally feels like it has a place in the world. This is the kind of shift we're entering now. After all the inner storms, the energetic clearings, and the emotional reckonings, the universe begins to return what's been long overdue. Not in chaotic bursts, but in ways that feel aligned, sustainable, and earned. For Leo, this is a sacred financial rebirth, one that goes beyond money and touches your sense of worth. The appearance of the Ace of Pentacles, the Ten of Pentacles, and the King of Pentacles isn't just about external wealth. It's a reflection of internal readiness. These cards come when your frequency finally matches the life you've been asking for. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect, it means you've been consistent, faithful, and intentional, even in seasons when no one was watching. Astrologically, we're in a rare and supportive period where Jupiter forms a trine with the Sun, a cosmic signal for expansion, reward, and growth in the areas you've worked the hardest to stabilize. Think back over the past 6 to 12 months. What have you been building, even when results didn't show up right away? What parts of you have been learning patience, discipline, or trust with your resources? That's where the harvest is headed. This is reaping season, and what you've sown with quiet perseverance is coming back tenfold. But let's talk about something most astrology readings skip over: emotional readiness. Because sometimes, abundance is delayed not by fate but by fear. If you've ever been taught that wanting more makes you greedy, or if you've had people manipulate or control you through money, it's likely that some part of you has internalized the belief that it's safer to have less. This phase is asking you to challenge that. To shift from, "Can I really have this?" to, "Why shouldn't I?" Because the truth is, spiritual and financial wealth are not opposites, they are reflections of the same root: self-trust. Your energy around money is healing. The stuckness is moving. You might notice contracts landing, payments finally clearing, collaborations aligning, or creative ideas generating real income. It may not all happen overnight, but the gate is open. And your part is to walk through it without guilt, hesitation, or fear of what others will think. That's the lesson of the King of Pentacles: a mature, grounded relationship with prosperity. He doesn't chase. He embodies. And when he receives, he shares from overflow, not obligation. On a more practical note, this is a great time to journal 3 ways you've handled money wisely over the last 6 months. Reflect on the ways you've grown in financial maturity. This will help anchor the energy and signal that you're not just hoping for wealth, you're ready for it. Support your body, too. Consider adding foods or supplements that support liver health, a space in the body linked to resentment and control. When we process emotionally, the body follows. If this part of the message resonates with you, if you felt blocked financially but you sense something shifting, I'd love to know. Comment below and write, "I open to aligned abundance." You don't have to say more unless you want to. Just that single sentence is a declaration. And sometimes, that's all the universe needs to send a confirmation your way. So breathe. The weight is lifting. And what's meant for you, not what you begged for, not what you chased, but what's meant for you is already on the way. Stay open. Stay anchored. And above all, stay deserving. Leo, something has changed in the atmosphere around you and you can feel it. It's not loud or dramatic, but it's real. Maybe you've been sleeping more deeply than usual, or maybe someone has recently exited your life without explanation. Whatever the case, it's not random. It's protection. What you're feeling is not just a coincidence, it's the hand of something divine moving in silence, pulling you out of harm's way before your conscious mind can even catch up. This is spiritual shielding in its most elegant form. Sometimes, protection doesn't come in the way we expect. It doesn't always look like a dramatic intervention or a booming voice from above. More often, it's quiet, like a door quietly closing behind you that was never meant to open again. You don't beg people to stay anymore. You don't over-explain your worth. You've outgrown the need to chase clarity from people who were never meant to carry your truth. That shift. That's Archangel Michael at work. He's the sword-bearer, one who cuts through toxic cords and unhealthy attachments. When someone disappears from your space suddenly, or when your spirit no longer tolerates certain energies him. And he never arrives without a reason. At the same time, healing is being poured over you like warm light after a long night. Archangel Raphael the Healer is active in your field. Your body may be craving slower mornings, softer nights, more time in silence. That's not weakness. That's recalibration. Emotional detox. If you felt waves of sadness followed by strange peace, know that you are being reset, not broken. You're being stitched back together, not torn apart. The old parts of you that tolerated harm are being dissolved. And all this is happening because the path ahead requires a stronger version of you, one that no longer doubts their light or compromises their soul. There's an invisible ring of light forming around you. It's not something others can see with their eyes, but it is real. It's a spiritual force field that deflects manipulation, envy, energetic leeches, and even your own self-doubt. That's why you might have noticed that certain people can no longer access you, emotionally or physically. Their tactics don't work anymore. Their drama doesn't reach you. You're not coldiery covered. You're not ignorantiary protected. That's the upgrade you've been silently receiving while you were resting. In this moment, your healing isn't just personal, it's sacred. Take time to honor it. Soak your feet in warm salt water to draw out the day's tension. Light a white candle and sit with yourself for 7 quiet minutes, not to solve anything, but to reconnect. Imagine a beam of pure light descending from the heavens, entering through the top of your head, traveling gently through your heart, and washing over your entire being. That's not fantasy, it's spiritual hygiene. You don't need to see angels to be touched by them. They've been guiding you all along. And if anything about this feels strangely accurate, if you've recently started sleeping more deeply, or someone has walked away without warning, I encourage you to say it out loud or comment below. I am protected by the angels. Let it be your agreement. Let it be your anchor. Your guardians are not just watching theory walking with you. This isn't just energy. This is intervention. And it means your path is about to open in ways you couldn't have imagined. Leo, my dear radiant soul, something inside you already knows. The sun wasn't lost, it was just gathering strength. And now, it returns not as a distant light, but as the fire within your own heart. You are not just being noticed again, you are finally being recognized as the leader, the healer, the creator, and the joy-bringer you were always meant to be. This part of your journey is not about chasing validation anymore. It's about standing still and letting your energy speak volumes. The crown isn't something you wear, it's something you embody. When you were younger, maybe just a few months ago, or maybe years, you might have felt the need to prove your worth. To push yourself to be louder, brighter, more visible. But now, something has shifted. The people who once overlooked you are starting to notice. But this time, it's not because you shouted. It's because you shined. And that's the power of divine timing. The sun is not trying. The sun simply rises. And you, Leo, are that Sunday astrologically. This is a sacred rebirth. The tarot confirms it with the arrival of the sun card, a cosmic nod to your reawakening joy. The Six of Wands returns, not to tell you to go to battle, but to remind you that the victory is already yours. You don't have to fight for it. You just have to receive it. And when the Empress shows up beside it, you know what's coming. Your creative power is being restored. Your ability to attract abundance, beauty, and nurturing relationships is being magnetized again. And finally, the World, the card of completion, tells us the past cycle is over. The old you has served its purpose. A new cycle begins now, with you in full sovereignty. Venus, the planet of love, pleasure, and divine femininity, is in soft conversation with the Sun. This makes your energy magnetic. Romantic relationships may feel sweeter, more aligned. Creative projects feel easier, flowing like water instead of grinding like stone. You may notice that the right people are drawn to you without effort. You may begin to receive opportunities without asking. That's not coincidence. That's the alignment of divine orchestration meeting inner readiness. And here's something you might forget in your busyness. The world doesn't need you to do more. It needs you to be more. Be more joyful. Be more open. Be more true to the spark that's trying to reignite inside you. You can help the universe help you by participating in the joy of life again. Not because everything is perfect, but because your joy creates the light that heals the imperfection. Here's something to practice. Every morning, look at your reflection. Yes, even when your hair is messy and your thoughts are still waking, you can speak to yourself like royalty. Say, I am returning to the throne of my own life. Even if you don't believe it yet, say it anyway. That's how belief is born. From repetition, from self-devotion, from love. And don't forget to move your body, dance, paint, sing, journal, take pictures, anything that reminds you that you're alive and beautiful. These aren't hobbies. They're portals. They reconnect you to your solar energy, the very force that makes your soul magnetic to all things meant for you. Now I ask you gently, what do you feel is returning to your life lately? Is it clarity? Peace? Your sense of purpose? Or maybe just your laughter? Share with us in the comments. Your words might light the path for someone else. And if your spirit whispered, yes, while reading this, comment below, I am the light that cannot be hidden. Because you are. You always were. And now, the world is finally ready to see it. You didn't stumble upon this message by accident, dear Leo. Something in your spirit has been calling out, asking for clarity, reassurance, and a reminder of who you truly are. And now, heaven is responding, not with noise, but with light. Not by forcing you to fight the darkness, but by inviting you to rise above it. Because the truth is, you were never meant to prove your worth through pain. You were meant to radiate, to lead, to be the warmth that turns chaos into clarity for others simply by being you. When the universe restores something it once allowed to be removed, it never returns it in the same form. It brings it back refined, elevated, and soul-aligned. That's what's happening to you right now. The relationships you thought were lost? Watch how new, healthier ones form in their place. The finances you once struggled to maintain? You'll soon be surprised by how naturally abundance begins to flow again. That deep sense of identity that felt shaken by betrayal or confusion? It's coming back, not as who you were, but as who you've grown into. You are not in the process of rebuilding. You are being reborn. The Sun card does not ask for validation. It simply shines. The Empress does not chase, she attracts. And the world? It reminds you that what you thought was an ending was actually a divine rotation of the wheel preparing your grand re-entrance. So now I ask you, what if everything you thought was delayed was actually right on time? What if the people who left were never meant to walk into the next chapter with you? What if this week, right now, is when the divine finally says, it's time? Give them back everything. But better. If any part of your heart whispered, yes, just now, hold on to that. Let it guide you into your morning mirror ritual. Speak it out loud. I am returning to my throne. I am protected. I am the light that cannot be dimmed. That single sentence carries more power than you know. Because the real miracle isn't what happens outside you, it's what shifts within you. That shift creates ripples in your energy field, and before long, the outer world must follow. So here's your invitation to participate in the magic. What do you feel is returning to you now? What energy, what clarity, what crown? Share it below. Type, high voltage, I am the light reborn, high voltage, in the comments to claim this shift. And if you truly felt the sacred echo of this message in your soul, pass it on. Someone else may be silently praying for this light too. Thank you for being here. Thank you for healing. If you want more soul-guided messages like this, subscribe to Eternal Mindfulness, your sanctuary for cosmic truth, energetic healing, and divine self-remembering. You're not alone in this. You're not too late. The light has been waiting for you.